There's this moment we all know, when you're about to say something true, something that matters, something that shows who you really are. And then you feel it, that pull, that voice that says don't. Keep it safe. Don't let them see too much. So you swallow the words, you rearrange your face, you make your voice steady, you perform being fine. And here's what nobody talks about. That moment that happens dozens of times a day. Every single day, you're constantly monitoring what you show, what you say, how you appear. You're running this background program that filters everything through one question. Will this make me look weak? We learned this so early, we don't even remember learning it. Don't cry. Be strong. Nobody likes someone who's needy. Don't show fear. Winners don't quit. Keep your problems to yourself. All these messages that taught us vulnerability equals weakness. The showing what you actually feel is dangerous. So we built armour. Layer after layer, we learned to hide the moments we're scared, to bury the times we feel lost, to cover up the parts of us that hurt or doubt or need. We got so good at this that we started believing our own performance. We forgot there's a difference between the person we show and the person we actually are. And the thing is that armour is heavy. Carrying it around all day, every day is exhausting. But we keep doing it because we think the alternative is worse. We think if people see the real us, the vulnerable us, the not put together us, they'll reject us. They'll see we're not strong enough, not good enough, not worth their time. Think about the last time someone asked how you are. How many times did you say fine when you weren't? How many times did you smile and nod when inside you were screaming or breaking or barely holding on? How many conversations have you had where you said absolutely nothing true about what's actually happening in your life? We do this because we think we're protecting ourselves. But here's what's actually happening. Every time you hide what's real, you create distance between you and other people, between you and yourself. You're living in this gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be. And that gap, that's where all your energy drains. You're maintaining two versions of reality. The one that's actually true and the one you're performing. And the mental effort of keeping those separate, of making sure nobody sees behind the mask, of constantly filtering and editing and controlling what you show, that takes enormous energy you could be using to actually live. But there's something else happening too. When you hide your vulnerability, you're also hiding your humanity. You're showing people a version of yourself that's acceptable, polished, safe, but not real. And people can feel that. They can sense when someone's performing versus when someone's present. They might not know what's different, but they feel the wall. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. Now here's where everything flips. What if the thing you're most afraid to show is actually your greatest strength? What if vulnerability isn't weakness at all? What if it's the most courageous thing you can do? Because here's the truth. Strength isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being real. Anyone can put on a mask. Anyone can pretend they have it together. That's the easy path. That's what everyone else is doing. What takes real courage is standing in front of another human being and saying, this is who I am. This is what I feel. This is where I'm struggling. When you do that, you're risking something. You're risking judgment. rejection, being seen and not being enough. That risk, that's what makes vulnerability brave. You're choosing to be visible when you could stay hidden. You're choosing truth when you could choose safety. And here's what happens when you make that choice. Something shifts in the room, in the relationship, in you. Because when you show up as yourself, without the armour, without the performance, you give other people permission to do the same. Your honesty creates space for their honesty. Your vulnerability invites their vulnerability. Think about the people you feel closest to, not the people you see most often, not the people who know the most facts about your life, the people who actually get you, who you feel real around. Those are the people you've been vulnerable with. Those are the relationships where you drop the mask, where you let them see you, really see you, that connection you feel in those moments. That's what vulnerability creates, not distance, not rejection, connection, real, deep human connection. Because vulnerability is the bridge between people. It's what allows us to actually meet each other instead of just performing at each other. There's this Japanese art called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, instead of throwing it away or hiding the cracks, they repair it with gold. The breaks become the most beautiful part of the piece. It becomes more valuable, not less, because of what it's been through. The cracks are what make it unique, what give it character, what make it real. That's what happens when you stop hiding your cracks, when you stop pretending you're unbroken, when you let people see the places where you've been hurt, where you've struggled, where you've failed. Those places become gold. They become the most interesting, the most real, the most valuable parts of who you are. But we've been taught the opposite. We've been taught to hide the breaks, to act like we're perfect, to show only the polished version. And in doing that, we've made ourselves less interesting, less real, less human. We've become these smooth, perfect surfaces that nobody can actually connect with. When you embrace your vulnerability, when you stop hiding the messy, broken, struggling parts of yourself, you become real. Not perfect, real. And real is what people connect with. Real is what matters. Real is what creates the moments in life that actually feel alive. Here's another thing nobody tells you. Vulnerability isn't about oversharing or having no boundaries or being a mess all the time. It's not about dumping all your problems on everyone you meet. It's simpler than that. It's about being honest, about letting people see you as you actually are, instead of as you think you should be. It's about saying, I don't know, instead of pretending you do. It's about saying I'm scared, instead of acting confident when you're terrified. It's about saying that hurt me, instead of pretending you're unbothered. It's about admitting you need help, instead of suffering alone because you think needing help makes you weak. And when you do that, when you choose honesty over performance, people relax around you because they don't have to perform either. Your vulnerability gives them permission to be human too. Suddenly you're having real conversations instead of surface ones. You're building real relationships instead of polite ones. But it goes deeper than that. When you stop hiding from others, you also stop hiding from yourself. You stop pushing down feelings because they're inconvenient. You stop pretending everything's fine when it's not. You stop ignoring the parts of yourself that don't fit the image you've been trying to maintain. You become whole. Not perfect. Whole. And there's so much power in that wholeness. Because when you're not spending energy on hiding, that energy goes somewhere else. It becomes available for living, for creating, for loving, for actually being present in your life, instead of constantly monitoring your performance. You know what else happens? You stop being afraid of being found out. Because there's nothing to find out. You're already showing who you are. There's no gap between your inside and your outside. No secret version of yourself you're terrified people will discover. Just you, as you actually are. And that is incredibly freeing. The fear you had that being vulnerable would make you weak, it dissolves. Because you start to see that showing up without armour, without masks, without pretending, is the bravest thing you can do. It takes strength to be soft in a world that rewards hardness. It takes courage to be honest in a world that rewards performance. It takes power to be real in a world obsessed with image. And here's the paradox. The more vulnerable you allow yourself to be, the stronger you become. Not stronger in the fake way, the performing way, the keeping it together no matter what way. Stronger in the real way. More resilient, more present, more alive, more you. Because vulnerability isn't the absence of strength. It's where strength lives. It's where courage lives. It's where real connection and real love and real life happen. Everything you've been trying to create by hiding yourself, it only becomes possible when you stop hiding. Your vulnerability is not your weakness. It never was. It's the place where your real power lives. It's the place where you stop being who you think you should be and start being who you actually are. And that person, the real you, without all the armour and all the pretending and all the performance, that person is enough. That person has always been enough. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love. You don't need to have it all together to be worthy of connection. You don't need to be unbreakable to be strong. You just need to be real. And real, it turns out, is what the world actually needs. Not more perfect people, more real ones. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, I choose to be real. Write it as your promise. Nobody.